Well, it started early with his stuff. He kept the ball in the strike zone early. We didn't get a base runner until Jake got hit on the 2-strike fastball. So we didn't put a lot of pressure on him early. He made his pitches. I thought we responded very well in the fourth with the 3 runs. After getting down 4-0, 4-0 with Archer on the mound is a pretty tall task. We get back into it 4-3, with a lot of good at bats in that inning, and then he responded by high end velocity. He had his mid-90s. I think his 110th pitch was at 97, I think. So plenty of arm strength. He had his breaking ball. He's just wild enough with his breaking ball to keep you honest. I mean, there's some high breaking balls in there that you give up on. There's some low breaking balls that get a lot of check swings because of the velocity. So when he's locked in, he's an elite pitcher. He sort of came in and out of that elite style today and held us at bay.
With Phillies, we've seen how good he can be, but it seems like these runs almost come in spurts. Mm-hmm. Is that something is he just doing something different, or is it just?
Well, the other side has something to do with it. Sometimes it's not always about your guy. Their guys put some pretty good swings on the pitches. I think at the end, his last 2 hitters he faced before I pulled him, he had a ground ball single and to Altuve, and then an infield single to Correa. So that's a little more unlucky. But the early in the inning, leadoff single, the homer, those are generally pitch execution. But there's also the other side's competing as well, and they've got pretty good players. So I think it's a combination of having to make pitches. He's going to say, if you talk to him in there, he's going to say he needs to make better pitches, and that's always the case when a pitcher struggles, especially early in an outing. He came out pretty hot. We like the fact that he's still in the mid-90s, but putting away hitters either on the first pitch or as the at-bats get deeper is always key for a young pitcher.
Are you seeing anything early in Fister's starts that give you an indication of what kind of day it's going to be for him? Because he's had some starts that have been really good lately, the other ones that have been pretty.
Yeah, I think Doug, he works fast, so that's always a consistent. He throws strikes, that's always consistent. If he's not throwing strikes early in a game, it tends to eat up some pitches and things like that. But today I thought he handled himself very well. He was really unlucky at the beginning of the game. There were some things that could have gone differently for him. In the second, even when they got the run, it was a couple ground ball base hits and a hit and run with first and third that it got chopped at all of 20 feet. So I think the days ebb and flows. I mean, he's going to throw strikes. He's going to get a lot of swings. Today they got a lot of foul balls, and they got a few seeing eye hits and a few bullets, and that ends his day early. I think the reason he came out in the 5th was the matchup with Davinsky versus Miller. Davinsky being like a left-handed pitcher with his changeup, so that's why I went to him. But Doug's going to keep us in the game. These wobbly games where it feels like he's in trouble in multiple innings in a row. You look up and you're still in the game, and that's a credit to Doug.
Where does Tony Sipp go from here? Another home run ball. Five out of his last 7 outings.
Yeah, no, I mean it's tough for Tony and obviously for our club because he's been such a valuable part of what we do in the bullpen, and his left-handedness, his ability to get righties out in the past has always been something that's separated him from a lot of lefties in the league. The home run ball has plagued him the entire season. He's got like 13 or 14 home runs he's given up in a very small number of innings. So he's continuing to work. We're trying to find the best shape of his pitches. We're trying to work with his delivery. And today they were saying his breaking ball wasn't breaking as much. His fastball leaks over the plate. Those are all bad signs for him. He'll continue to work his way. He's our only lefty, and obviously I want to try to find a pocket, where it's safe for him to come in and work on what he's been working on without the game on the line. Today at 6-3, the game is still close. He's got a perfect pocket for him. He can get those guys out. Execution wasn't his best today, and we end up, falling behind even more. I'm going to continue to try to nurse him along because he's on a long-term contract here. He's been a part of a very good bullpen. We have belief in him, but we've obviously got to find the right adjustment for him.
Bregman's errors, kind of like you talked about yesterday, is that just a case of him trying to make too much of a play, being so athletic?
I don't know. I think it's, you have one shot at third base to judge whether to come in or go back. Yesterday he went back, and the ball took the second hop, and it hurt him. Today he tried to come in, and he couldn't quite reach it, and the ball gets underneath his glove. So, it's still a learning curve for him. This, as well as he's played and as athletic as he is, these are all learning plays for him. He hasn't had the hundreds of games in his career where he's been able to have these mistakes that aren't on the center stage. So I'll bet on him making the play more than not making the play, and he's shown that, especially in his range side to side. The ball forward and the ball back, where he's playing one hop, one chance, one read, is what he's going to learn to do better.
What was the conversation after that play with the umpiring crew? Was that about the interference part of it?
The obstruction part of it. Yeah, I wanted to know whether or not they would automatically – first off, I wanted to give some time for replay because it was bang-bang at home. Secondly, if we were going to review it, how much of a credit they were going to give to the fact that the obstruction, is it an automatic run? Is it, where that fit into the equation as to how they were going to judge that? Because otherwise, third base coaches are just going to wheel their runners every time there's contact at third base. Just wheel him. It doesn't matter whether he gets thrown out. He'd get to go back to third base. That's not the case, which is what the umpires were telling me. The replay came back that he was safe anyway. Therefore, there's really no challenge or no argument.